Darn it, that ain't what I wanted. There we go. Hey, hey, hey. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. I want to talk about the Democrats, right? Right now, they're in a crouch position. Republicans have all of the House, they have all of the Senate, and they have the executive. So, what are Democrats to do, right? All they can do is grab that microphone and try to preach to the court of public opinion. And that's what they've been doing, right? So, Democrats use the court of public opinion to get the word out about Doge. Yeah, Elon Musk, and his muskrats running amok in the government with Doge, you know what I'm saying, which some people say stands for dangerous oligarchs grabbing everything. Anna Presley, somebody had that on a sign at one of her rallies, and that's what she was saying behind the mic. And that is true. That's exactly what's going on. Dangerous oligarchs grabbing everything. Now, I seen some sister on TikTok, right? I can't remember her name, but she's a creator, and she was a conservative, and she was saying, be weary of these black women who they're sending at you saying this, saying that about the Democratic Party and how you should get on board with that and how these oligarchs are bad and how Trump is bad, how the Republican Party is bad. And she was saying, be weary of a black female face coming to talk to you. They always find these black female faces, the Democratic Party come to talk to you. Well, my message to her is, what else they gonna do? The Democratic Party is in the crouch position. That ain't even racial. You know what that is? That's politics. That's politics. The Democrats have always have a problem with messaging. They're horrible messengers, right? And even some of the messengers that they even have right now, Chuck Schumer is a surrogate for the Democratic Party. That man sucks. He's an old white man who's ineffective behind the mic. Don't get me wrong, Chuck Schumer's cool. I agree with most of his politics. He's not a bad person. But when it comes to messaging, when it comes to talking to people, when it comes to articulating the horrible situation that we're in to the American people, he is in no condition to do it, right? So there's not a lot of Democrats who could do it. Listen, Anna Presley, that's the sister you see, the bald sister who be out there talking. She's dynamic. She's good. She's spirited. When she talks, people listen. Those are the type of people who you need as surrogates. You need people who can go out here and articulate your message in a worthwhile way. There's not too many people like that in the Democratic Party, and for whatever reason, the people I think that they have that could do that aren't stepping up. Cory Booker, where he at? I ain't seen him. He needs to be stepping to the forefront talking. Maxwell Frost, I like this young guy. He's been talking a lot. You've seen him. Jasmine Crockett, you've seen her all over TikTok and all these other places. That's the young sister. She ain't no joke. She is dynamic. She's articulate. She's ready for prime time. She is an awesome surrogate. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the Democratic Party is doing. They're using all they got. I promise you, if the Democratic Party had some young white women who were this well spoken, who could carry the torch this good, they put them out there. But they don't. They don't. So that's why I say to this sister, it ain't about a black female face. Some of these black female faces are the best spokespeople they have. Jasmine Crockett, if you ask me, she probably one of the number one Democrats right now. She be all over TikTok. She all over Facebook. You see the young sister. She's poised. She's articulate. She's intelligent. She's well spoken. She is the best and the brightest of the of the Democratic Party. That's why they putting her out there. That's it. That's the only reason. It ain't got nothing to do with her being black. Because if she was white, she'd be out there. But that doesn't exist. Now listen, there is AOC, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I love, who is an amazing surrogate. But she don't step to the forefront so much, and I'm not going to lie, I don't blame her for doing that, because she got a lot going on. One, she's very attractive, right? Two, she's Latina. That's something too. And the right, they do things with her. You know what I mean? They come after her, but it's oddly sexual the way they come after her. Because I think a lot of these guys on the right, I think they like her and they're turned on by her, but they're also mean and can't help but spit all this vitriol towards her. So it ends up being something kind of weird. I'm not mad at AOC for not stepping up the way some of these other Democrats have, because and she does on certain issues, but even then there's all this other crap she has to deal with because she is attractive, she is Latina. So I get her not wanting to be the face of some of this stuff all the time. But some of these other people are great. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Jasmine Crockett, she's an amazing surrogate. She does her damn thing, right? Excuse me, it's French, huh? Oh my gosh. But she does the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? When she gets out there, she's good talking to people. She's good articulating the message of the Democratic Party that Doge is bad and that the Republicans are bad. So that's why you see a lot of these people in the forefront. The Democrats, they got to use what they got to get what they want. They got talent, but for whatever reason, some of that talent is reluctant to stand up. Now, I was watching Bill Maher today. Here I am going off. I didn't even in my notes, but it's something I was thinking about. I was watching Bill Maher earlier, and he was talking about Fetterman, and he was talking about Buttigieg as being some Democratic talent that should step up. I hear that. I hear that. Now, he was saying they should step up because they're two guys who have kind of pushed aside that woke stuff. That gets on my nerves. The reason Bill Maher likes that is because he's a white man, right? And when you're white and you hear woke, you equal that to black stuff. Even him, even though he's a liberal, right? You know what I'm saying? He's historically been a liberal. But I think in his white mind, he's thinking other white Americans, and he's right, other white Americans hear woke and they think black. But that doesn't mean they should stop saying that. Right? Because to be woke is to be what? Conscious. If you're conscious and aware of the BS that the other party is doing. So there's nothing wrong with being woke. Now I understand the connotation that takes with the right. Who cares? Who cares? And that's why I'll say Mr. Maher too. Who cares? But he can't see that far because, like I said, he is a white man. His race has always been the default. So then when that goes away, he want to say, oh, you're going too close to the woke. To be woke is to be conscious. We all need to be conscious, right? Because Elon Musk does stuff right in front of your face, right? And some of us claim to be conscious, but I guess some of us Americans can't even see it. But that's what's sad. So when people talk about being woke, ain't nothing wrong with that, Mr. Maher. No, y'all do need to be woke. There need to be some wokeness out here, right? But y'all need to define that correctly. You know, woke doesn't mean that we're all for liberal policies just because they're liberal policies. No, woke means doing the right thing. Woke means being awakened to what is right, to what is just. See what I'm saying? So there's that. So Fetterman, I don't dislike that guy. I don't love him to death, but yeah, he is what he is. And he distances himself from the woke stuff. That's fine because people who look like him don't necessarily like that term all the time. I get that. Buttigieg, he's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? That guy's intelligent. He's thoughtful. He happens to be gay. And he was saying that a gay guy, in Buttigieg, and a mentally ill guy, because, Fetterman had a stroke, that equals a minority. Bill, cut it out. Cut it out. That's not what's going on here. What's going on here is that people of color bring something different to the table, right? And they add something to the conversation that wouldn't be added if they weren't there. And so it isn't about finding a disabled white person and a gay white person to equal a black person. No. It's about having diversity at the table, period. Whether it's a gay person or a disabled person or a black person or an Indian person or whatever. Those different perspectives add to the conversation. They make the legislation, everything better. So somebody tell Bill Maher I said so. Anyway, let me move on. Let's talk about Trump and how he joked about a third term, right? So here he is doing his second term. I think it's an utter disaster. Plenty of y'all think it's an utter disaster, right? But he joked about a third term. Now, it scares me to death because I do think he's after that, right? But there's ways you'd have to go about that. And the legal way kind of sucks. If you were a person who was interested in taking over everything and being a dictator like he is, the legal way of doing it, that is a thing, but it'd be hard to do. Listen. So Trump jokes about a third term, but for a third term, you would need 2/3 vote in Congress, followed by a ratification from 3/4 of the states. That's 38 out of 50 states. So think about that. You would need 38 out of 50 states to go on record and say, oh, we actually wanted Trump. We didn't want Kamala. You couldn't do it. That'd be hard to do. That right there is a hard hurdle to cross right there. That ain't happening, right? And then you need 2/3 votes in Congress. So you would need 2/3 of Congress to flip their vote in favor of Trump. That ain't gonna happen. He knows neither of these could happen. He's not popular enough for either of these to happen. He's not that good a president. But there is a third way. And and the reason why this article didn't talk about the third way is because the third way is illegal, right? The third way is what happens in banana republics, right? A coup. Now, a coup is a military overthrowing of the government. That could happen here, ladies and gentlemen. Lo and behold, I don't know if you've been paying attention. I do this stuff all day, every day. I get into politics in a strange way. So I've been paying attention to the fact that Trump has changed out all these military generals. And he got rid of one who was like a long time general who then served under all of these different presidents. They couldn't believe he got rid of him. He's getting rid of any general who's not a loyalist because he wants loyalists. Why? Because if he got through this 4 years and decided he wanted to stay, he can do a coup. And that's when he gets with the military and says, we just gonna strong arm this government. We just gonna tell anybody who thinks they gonna come up here because they want to vote or whatever. Well, I got guys with guns and they say, this is my house and I'm gonna stay here as long as I want to. That's called a coup. We've never seen that in this country. We might be about to see it. Because like I told you, right now, Trump has already put those generals in position. He's already made sure those chief generals in the military are Trump loyalists. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? These are guys who are going to listen to him, nobody else. So when oh Lord, when it comes down to the wire, when the ish hit the fan, he going to be able to make a call and say, hey, look, I don't feel like budging, so I need y'all to get my back with the heat. And they're going to get his back with the heat. I hope I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, but anyway, moving on. That's how that goes. Let's talk about this Republican budget that just got passed. They passed the Republican budget. It guts Medicaid and Medicare to the tune of $880 billion so that he can give his rich friends a $4.5 trillion tax cut. Wow! $4.5 trillion tax cut on the backs of the American people. That is something. And that budget passed. That's a thing, right? And the people who will be affected is working class poor, disabled people, children. There's a lot of people who are going to really feel the heat from this, really get a hardcore kickback from this. But some of these people voted for this, you know? And when you're woefully ignorant, when you know what I'm saying, you don't do the knowledge, you don't do the math, you get what you get. And a lot of people are going to really get hit in the head by this. This is sad, you know? And he costs $880 billion. What? You know? I mean, really, come on. It's a drop in the bucket, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of the stuff that Doge is cutting, it ain't even stuff that needs to be cut, you know? There's a way to do this. There's a way to cut government waste. Does government waste need to be cut? You know what I'm saying? Yes. Do we need to trim the fat? Of course. But there's a way to do it. In the early 90s, Bill Clinton, what he did is he had a committee that went around to each different branch of government, you know, research these branches, found out where the waste was at, and they got rid of the waste. And that's the reason why when he left as president, he left us with a surplus. He's one of the few presidents to leave us with money in the coffers. We had money in the coffers when he bounced. Why? Because he went through strategically, and like a surgeon, he scalped out some of this government waste and was able to save the taxpayers and the American people some money. But that's how you do it. You have to do it surgically, strategically. You don't just go in like Elon Musk with a chainsaw and just start cutting stuff. Because then you cut people who handle the nuclear arsenal, and you got to hire those people back. Then you cutting people who handle Medicare and Medicaid and all that, and that's the thing they seek to do anyway. They want to get rid of that because that's where they're looking for these tax breaks and tax credits that they can go give their rich buddies. $4.5 trillion. Think about that. That's a lot of money. And Mr. Musk, he's on his way to becoming a trillionaire. That's what all of this is about. All of this is about that. It ain't about him controlling the government, although he is. It ain't about SpaceX and all them guys. His company's doing what they want to, although they are. But really, it's about him being on a road to become the first trillionaire in history. I guarantee you that's paramount in his mind. Look at his moves. And somebody was saying that. That's the journey he's on to become the first trillionaire at our expense. He gonna do it at our expense, but he gonna do it, right? And he also gonna do it at the American government's expense because, you know what I'm saying, he already bought the standard bearer for the Republican Party. So he's well on his way to being that trillionaire that he wants to be, right? Anyway, moving on. I think last thing I'm going to talk about is a guy who is vying for the top spot in my state. Vivek Ramaswamy, governor of Ohio, throws his hat in the ring to be governor of Ohio. His agenda sounds a lot like the one that he helped draw up for Doge. He was one of the key people to draw up the plan for Doge. You know what I'm saying? That stuff that Elon Musk and all them and all those unqualified young cats he got were doing in the government. Ramaswamy was a part of that. So now he wants to bring that to the great state of Ohio. Great. Exactly what we need. He said sarcastically. This is ridiculous. Anyway, he's tried to distance himself from that, of course. He's been in all of these interviews. He always want to be like, well, yeah, I did help write that, but blah, 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 and he goes on to something else. Of course, because it's unpopular, and he don't want to talk about that because he wants to be popular because he's still trying to get the job of governor of Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? So he's pushing cuts and merit pay. That blows me away. First of all, there's all this stuff about cuts. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Republicans have always claimed to be the party of austerity, the party of saving money. So whatever. He talking about cuts. We'll see. What do you want to cut? That could be good or bad depending on what you want to cut. But then talking about this merit pay, where they kill me with that because what have we ever been on merit pay? You know what I'm saying? If you don't, there's merit pay, right? And then there's nepotism. And that's what's going on a lot around here. But a lot of times when it's nepotism involved, it seems to be people who are not of color. Because it seems to be those are people who benefit from nepotism. Not necessarily people of color. People of color end up having to deal with this merit-based pay and guess what, or merit thing. And we've always had to have the merits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 10 the merits of what it took to get the job. So what are they talking about? All of this is redonkulous, right? But it's okay because, like I said, it don't affect black folk because we've always had to be 10 times better to get the job. Nothing changes there. They were talking about merit pay or merit-based. Everything with us is merit-based. Everything with us is merit-based. You ain't never going to find a person of color who doesn't have the position they had because they were 10 times better than every other person around them who wasn't of color. So that's what's up. So anyway, we'll see what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about pushing cuts and merit pay. Vivek Ramaswamy he's pathetic. He's a bootlicker. I seen him on he was on somebody's show. I can't remember. This lady is a big time conservative, but he was on his show and she was basically just disrespecting the HE hockey sticks out of him. You know, really talking low to him. You could even see on his face how he was kind of put off, but still on the show, still trying to be nice. And you always gonna have those people. You know, these are people. He got Down syndrome. Not like people who have Down syndrome called Down syndrome. Back in the day, that's what we used to call them. So these cats got Down syndrome. They want to be down so bad. And that's him. He want to be down so bad with the Republican Party. He'll let them disrespect him. He'll let them be racist to him. He'll let them berate him. He'll let them treat him like he's ignorant or doesn't know what he knows. Why? He got Down syndrome. He want to be down with that party so bad. so bad that he'll take being disrespected like that and treat it like he's less than. And I put that in the comments. A lot of people agree with me, and that's what it is with him. There's a lot of people like Vivek Ramaswamy, you know? He's a guy of color, but he's so desperate to be down. He got Down syndrome, right? And what's sad is the right plays it for all it's worth. Because they know what's up with him. They know he's dying to be one of them. He's dying to be accepted in their crew that he'll never be accepted in. He'll never be respected in. You'll always be a brown person who's lower than us on the totem pole. But this guy, he got Down syndrome. He want to be down so bad. He'll do whatever he got to do to try and get any type of points he can with that party. And his wins in that house, yeah, he got no wins in that casa, right? Because you're brown, bro. You're of color, and the Republican Party has already said they're all about white is right? So, anyway, that's your boy Vivek Ramaswamy. There was a CNN poll that said 51% of respondents say that Trump has gone too far. And is cutting the federal programs. 32% said that he's been about right, and 17% said not far enough. So that's interesting. So basically what we got here is 51% of people who are not stupid and get it that Trump that just went through here with a hacksaw and just butchering up, you know what I'm saying? The federal budget or whatever and cutting off a lot of stuff that we need. And then we got 41% of people who think he's been about right or hasn't gone far enough. I don't know who these people are. I think a lot of these people have a view of federal workers as someone who's getting a check, sitting at home, doesn't even come to their job or comes whenever they want to, does their work whenever they want to. And that's not necessarily the truth. Now, listen, I tell people all the time. I have this conversation with my father a lot of times. Do you know 100 things can be right at the same time? Just like 100 things can be wrong at the same time. Now, what 100 things are right at the same time? Are there federal workers who are not doing their job and who are sucking off the teat of the federal government? Yes. Yes. Of course there are. I promise you there are. Is that the majority of federal workers? No, sir. No, ma'am. No. A lot of federal workers are people who are in the trenches and they're doing an arduous, hard job, right? A lot of paperwork, a lot of long hours, and you'll never hear about them. You'll never know what they do, but they're keeping things running smoothly in this country, right? But you don't hear about them. So then when Elon Musk and these other Doge or doggy muskrats run around cutting stuff, they're cutting some of these people who are humble, quiet workers doing the government's business in the dark of night, and they're doing a good job. But they're doing it without fanfare, right? They don't even get a thank you. They don't get nothing. All they get is their salary, right? So they're doing that business, and that's making life easier for the rest of us. But this idiot, Mr. Musk, he don't care about that, right? He don't care about that. He just wants to cut to say that I'm cutting. But when you cutting essential stuff. We have 880 million people poised to be without a job. That's a big deal, right? That is a big deal. So, yeah. Something needs to be done about that. That's not good. In a couple of months here, we're going to see how far these doggy cuts have went. But I guarantee it's probably not going to plan out good for the American people. It is what it is, though. A lot of y'all voted for this. I'm thinking anybody watched this show, they didn't vote for it. I know I didn't vote for it. But there are people who voted for this. They talked about how the European Union voted for Brexit. A lot of Trump's policies and a lot of his plans are just like Brexit. And they voted for that. See what's going on with them right now. That's a problem in this country. We don't study history, and we doggone sure don't study other people's history or other countries' history. Because if we did, like I said, we know Europe just went through Brexit. Trump has a lot of the same policies as Brexit. We're poised to go through that same crap that they're going through right now. And it ain't fun. They're not having a good time. But if people were paying attention, we could have avoided this. But no one's paying attention to this. People are too busy watching the Kardashians or the Super Bowl or whatever garbage they got to put in your face so you don't pay attention to how they got idiots robbing you blind, taking your job, you know what I'm saying, taking your livelihood, taking your way of life right up from under you. So there it is. But a long time ago, I seen a quote that said the people or the electorate that doesn't pay attention to their politics, they get the government they deserve. So we're getting the government we deserve. A lot of people out of tune. A lot of people are not interested. So now we're getting the government that you get when you're out of tune and you're not interested. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm hoping for the best, but we'll see what happens. We got 4 years of this to go. Like I said, 51% of respondents say that Trump is going too far. And what's awesome about politics, I was telling a couple of people this. What I love about it is every 6 months there's a reset, right? So the midterms are coming. And they said even Republicans right now are talking about that, how the midterms are coming. We're basically screwed because Trump is turning off everybody right now. He is. And I'm thinking and hoping that's the position we're going to be in about 6 months. In about 6 months, they could lose the House. They could lose the Senate. And then all we have is Trump and the executive, right? So we got if we had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, they would just block everything he tries to do for the next 3 years. And that would be awesome. That's the best we can hope for. He'll do a bunch of executive orders, but executive orders are a joke because as soon as the next executive comes in, he throws your orders right out of there, right? So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. So watch this space, as Rachel Maddow would say. Watch this space, and we'll see if Fizz Ed Music is right. But I feel like that's what's going to happen. We'll have a reset here in about 6 months. The midterms will come up. They'll lose the House. They'll lose the Senate because a lot of this stuff is very unpopular. Very unpopular. And you have a whole lot of people upset right now. Because they losing family farms and losing jobs and losing all this other stuff. So I think Mr. Trump, he's gonna have to answer that, and Lord knows he has no answer for any of this. These are just horrible policies, and him looking out for his rich buddies. Yeah. So I could definitely see the House and the Senate flipping in 6 months. But we'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Because America disappoints me all the time. It could disappoint me again. Anyway, I'm done. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music. This right here is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. And subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.